Until today, encoding a mid-side or a double mid-side signal into Ambisonics will have required you to first decode these signals into stereo pairs and then encode these stereo pairs into Ambisonics. However, that is over now with AB Encoder MS. You can encode the mid-side or the double mid-side signals into Ambisonics with just one click. My name is Alejandro and we are the Audio Brewers. So AB Encoder MS was a plugin that was designed specifically for mid-side recordings. With AB Encoder MS, you can encode mid-side or double mid-side recordings into Ambisonics without passing through discrete channels. So you are actually keeping the mid-side and the rear mid-side signal intact and just putting it into an Ambisonics sound field. And this is what I am doing right here in my microphone rig, which is connected to my DAW. Here you can see that I have a live track that is actually recording my voice. And now you can hear me from my double mid-side microphone rig. And all I have to do is insert my AB Encoder MS plugin and it'll encode the double mid-side signal into Ambisonics, and then I am decoding that Ambisonic signal into a Dolby Atmos bed 712 using AB Advanced Decoder, which is, by the way, upscaling it to 7th order Ambisonics. So I am in front of the double mid-side rig, and if I move to either of the sides, you can hear that my voice actually moves around your head because this is a double mid-side recording. And even if I rotate this microphone rig so that I focus on the rear, you can hear that my voice is now in the back. But not only can you hear it, you can actually see it here in the correlation graphic of my visualizer. So if I go to the rear and I move to the left and to the right, you can actually hear and see that my voice is on the rear of my double mid-side signal. So it's very easy. All I had to do was insert AB Encoder MS and select the type of audio that it should encode. So how does this work in practice? So in practice, I'm going to import here a couple of files that have been recorded in MS and in double MS, and I'm going to show you what we have done. So first, I have created a stereo track and I am going to insert here an MS file. When you insert an MS file, you do know that the left channel is the mid and the right channel is the side. So all you have to do is insert AB Encoder MS in the first insert and select the type of signal that is coming in. In this case, mid-side. And finally, you insert a decoder on the next step. So I have inserted here AB Advanced Decoder so that I can decode this mid-side signal into 712 and then send it to the bed. And then from the bed, I'm getting a 2.0 render so that you can hear it in YouTube. So if I press play, you will hear that the stereophony in the front is very clear. So like that, you actually have a mid-side recording into a Dolby Atmos bed. But first, you are actually upscaling it to 7th order Ambisonics because that's what AB Advanced Decoder does. So it's very easy. There's nothing else you have to do. You have here a slider that is called width, that what it will do is simply expand the signal horizontally more. But if your signal is double MS, you will lose depth. So depending on what you want to do, you might want to leave the width on its default setting, but you can expand it as well. However, because this signal is Ambisonics already, you can actually insert any Ambisonics effect that you want. So let's just try and do something here. I'm just going to insert vortex here. And now I have a 3-dimensional reverb working with my mid-side signal. So if I press play, you can see that just like that, I created a 3-dimensional effect with a mid-side signal into an Ambisonic sound field. It was really, really easy. I really didn't have to do anything difficult at all. So what happens if we have a double mid-side signal? Let's check it out. So with my double mid-side signal, I have created a new track here, which is a folder track for Pro Tools. Depending on your DAW, things might be a bit different, but for Pro Tools, you actually have to create a folder track and then 3 mono tracks that are routed to the first, to the second, and to the third channel. So I'm going to drag a 3-channel double mid-side recording here. And as I drag it, you can see that Pro Tools automatically splits it into 3. And again, all I have to do is insert AB Encoder MS here and select that this is a 3-channel double mid-side recording, and then my advanced decoder. So if I press play, you will hear that it sounds pretty cool. So you can see here in the visualizers that now you have things happening not only in the front of you, but also in the back. So you have a fully immersive 360-degree recording here from a double MS signal that doesn't contain any height information, but is really, really useful for immersive applications. But because this recording is now in Ambisonics, you can again add any Ambisonics effect and it'll work really, really cool. Let's just say that we want to bend the sound field. So if we insert our AB imager, we can actually do that. So let me just press play, and I'm going to start pushing the sound field towards either side so you can see how this behaves. Or you can even push it upwards. So like that, you can actually redirect the energy of this double mid-side recording in Ambisonics with just the use of one plugin. What happens if I want to do something more creative? Let's just check it out. Let's imagine that I want to create, for example, a delay. And if I insert astrometry and just load any type of delay, let's just say this delay, and press play. You can hear that this is really, really cool because now everything you did with your double MS signal was 3-dimensional, was working in Ambisonics, and was speaker agnostic, meaning that you can actually decode it for your Dolby Atmos bed, but you can decode it for any speaker array possible. So this is AB Encoder MS. It'll work really, really well for you if you just want to encode an MS or a double MS recording into Ambisonics for your immersive projects. If you have any comments or any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below. And well, that's it. My name is Alejandro and we are the Audio Brewers, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers.